really want to capitalize here for a moment on menial task. Menial task. For some reason, there's this mindset that people have developed in this world. It even comes over into the faith, to where people believe, and it's systemic all the way across the board, no matter who you are, that some task, what you do, is important and other things are less important. Here at the community, we are a literal team. Not only are we a team, we're a family. There is nothing that is so small or minute that anybody on this land is above doing. Now, don't get me wrong. People may not like it, but there's nothing that is above doing. That's part of having a cohesive unit to where people can really truly comprehend and understand that there is nothing that is minute, especially when you're living amongst your family. Because whatever you lax on and whatever you choose not to do will actually come back and end up biting the community, the team, the family later on. So there's nothing minute. That's all the way from taking out the trash, sweeping the floors, setting up logistics, training, making sure we have the proper equipment, time, putting the time, energy, and effort in, building, making sure the nail is even nailed in right. There's nothing that is menial. Everything has purpose. Everything has meaning. I said all that to say this. A lot of times, young people, listen to me. A lot of times we go through life and then, 10, 20 years blink and it passes by and you wonder what the world just happened. Now, you ain't been there yet, but now's the time to really, truly, to start slowing down and thinking on not only any task that you have at hand, but to thank y'all for the many blessings that has come your way, especially since being in the faith. A lot of times we don't do a lot of reflection for some reason, whatever purpose it may be. And I know if we're going to be scholarly, that you're supposed to forget those things that are behind, but also at the same time, the Bible teaches us to remember things. And so slow yourself down sometime and make sure that whatever task you're doing it with purpose. So in the end, be you male or female, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you put your hands to, whatever plow that may be, you can be a man or a woman of strength and honor. This is how you start character development. You start it early on, like I said before. The first thing they taught us in boot camp was how to make a bed. That is a menial task. But you know what? If that task is such a burden, and if it's such beneath you and such a disgrace, then how in the world are you going to develop later on in life to where you get to pick and choose what is a menial task or something that is great or something that is minute or doesn't even matter? I can tell you one thing in my life, from my reflection of it, is that almost every single year, or at least every other year, I have always learned something new. I've applied myself to make sure I've learned something new. See, the whole purpose of life is that when others are more important than you, then that's when you really truly start having not only a heart of giving, but a heart of a servant. Notice we differ nothing from a servant. And when you're given much is a hell of a lot more required. But what does the parable tell you? Once you meet those requirements, he will double your gifts, double your responsibility. So I've always tried to make sure I apply myself to learn something, even if I didn't know how to do it, not making the excuse. Well, I remember one guy out there in Arizona, he says, well, you've been blessed. I haven't been called to that. You mean you too fat and lazy that you don't want to do shit. You don't want to do a damn thing in order to be a benefit to others because it's going to inconvenience you. And it's going to allow your gut to be sunk in more and give you a little bit more air to breathe because you done lost so much weight and stuff, and thereby making yourself more available to people and becoming a benefit rather than a liability later on in life. That's what you're really truly saying without saying it. See, there's a whole bunch of things that are said. Listen, don't follow that attitude, that mediocre attitude. The die has already been cast. The decision has already been made. Every single day, you need to make sure whatever you apply yourself to do, you do it wholeheartedly, not half-assed, but you apply yourself, because there's nothing that is so small and minute in meaning that it doesn't matter. All the way from the time you go in the bathroom, you wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, hygiene, everything. It all means something, including the way you carry yourself. Gaining strength, gaining honor, be a man or woman of truth, be a true Israelite to be an example of the next generation coming behind us, because you know just as well as I do, talking to this generation and mine is like talking to a brick wall. There's no hope in it. So start young.